Okay, let me show you how to take that beautiful pork chop. Let me show you how to do it start to finish. All right, it's not a recipe, it's a money saving tip. A good one, if I say so myself. Hey y'all, it's me, Hetty, and this is more of a tidbit, a hint. You got a family, you're trying to save on money. Well, I'm gonna just today show you how I save a little bit of money here and there, quite a bit actually. And I'm gonna show you, of course, I'm a member of Sam's Club and have been for many, many years. And I get these, sometimes I'll even make pulled pork out of these instead of a pork butt. So anyway, this is just a whole pork loin. See this? I want to show you that today is the 14th. I've actually had this for about a week, but no, today's the 13th. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. This is Monday the 13th. So anyway, as you can see, I paid $17.46 for this, $1.98 a pound. It weighs almost 9 pounds. Okay, so everyone's a little bit different, but I'm going to show you what I do. Now, I'm not going to open this here because, as you can see, that liquid, I always open it in the sink. Okay, so when I do that, I'm going to pat it and I'll bring it back and I'm going to show you what I do. All right, so he was a long sucker. So, you know, sometimes they're a little shorter. It just depends on what they have in stock at the time. But as you can see, this is just a whole pork loin. And he's long, so I got him on the tray. Now I just did that to get him over here from the sink. And I patted him dry about best I could. I'm going to still keep him bent right there. All right, now, if your family buys boneless pork chops, or you just want a pork loin roast, or whatever, you can make so many meals out of this. Like I said, sometimes I'll take a section and I'll put a link to a video up there if anybody's interested how I do pulled pork. I've done it in the oven. I do it on the stove. And I think those might be pork butts I'm using, but you can do it with this as well. Just same recipe and everything, just it'll be done a little sooner if it's not a big, huge pork butt. But anyway, I'm going to show you. So this is almost 9 pounds. And what I do is I'm probably going to just cut it in half just so I can work with it better. Now, in all honesty, I'm going to tell you something right now. I usually always flash freeze this for about 3 to 4 hours, depending on the size, and it cuts much easier. It's not frozen through, but it makes it for easier cutting. All right, and all I do, so if you're, and like I'm going to start this cut in. If you, this, like I said, this is a tidbit, one of Hetty's tidbits. I'm not going to cook them or anything like that. But look, we like ours about 1 inch. So, but like I said, I like to flash freeze them, cut them when kind of the outside's got a little freeze to it because it holds it up better. So this one, it doesn't cut as good when they're fresh from the fridge. And I wish I would have done that to show you, but as a hint, do that. And I'm using a boning knife because they just cut so well. So look at that. There's one pork chop. He's a little thick on one side, but that's all right. And then I come in, after I get it going, now I'm straight here. And I'm going to come in about 1 inch. We do them in the oven. I can shake and bake them. Sometimes I just use my barbecue rub on them. Sometimes I just use Hey Hetty's house seasoning. I'll put those links all up in the video if you're interested. If I remember to, I'll put them down below even. Anyway, look, this is all I do. And I'll go through and I'll cut. But like I told you, I know I'm going to want to, I'm probably going to either make a pork loin roast, either in the crock pot or the oven, in a Dutch oven. Or I'm going to turn this into pulled pork. Well, when I make pork chops, I always make 6. Now, it's my 3 grown sons and my husband and myself. Well, of course, that's 5. And they're hungry after they're done working for the day and all that. My husband comes home from work. He's still working. And so, long story short, I make 5, but I always make 6 pork chops. Why? Because my husband loves to have a pork chop the next day for lunch. And he does take his lunches. And I cook accordingly. So I always cook for 6 every time. And I've been doing it so long, I know what to cook and how much. without there being a whole lot of leftovers, unless we want leftovers, like soup and stuff like that. Anyway, so I'm not going to bore you. I'm not going to keep rambling. I'm going to cut some more of these, and then I'm going to keep going, and then I'm going to show you how much I'm going to keep. Probably about a third of it will be either pulled pork or a roast. So anyway, I'll see you in a minute. Alrighty, next step. Now I'm going to show you, here's one meal, and this is actually too much. I cut them a little too thick on this one. 2 meals and 3 meals right here. And like I said, this will either be a pork loin roast, and it's 2 little hunks, the 2 end pieces, and it's either going to be pulled pork or anything I want it to be. Now, I could, for instance, take these, and if I cut them into strips, I could make a stir fry with them. I can do so many other things with this pork. It's already cut. But I am going to show you with my old beat up, I use this flash freeze stuff all in the freezer. I take a Ziploc bag, gallon size. Now here's what I do. I'll show you. I hope you can see this on camera because I can't quite tell. Y'all know about me and step stools, most of you. Anyway, I fit them in here. These were the big ones. I just lay them flat on purpose. Won't matter if they're touching. I'm going to unroll this one, get this last one in. And I usually always take the smallest one, and most of the time I cannot eat all of it. So I will, before I eat, I will cut off what I know I'm not going to eat, and I will throw that in with the pork chop that's going in my husband's lunch. Anyway, so I'm showing you, and I'm going to get all the air out that I can. Boy, it's hard to do with gloves on. Okay, so I leave about 2 inches right here, right? I've got it almost all the way closed, and then I'm going to still go in. I mean, you can vacuum seal these if you want to, but I won't. Mine won't be in the freezer long enough to worry about that. If I was going to do a little bit more long term, I would. I do definitely have a vacuum sealer, and I do use it. Anyway, so these are frozen, right? So poof. I'm going to do the same thing with these, and I'll bring you back. All right, I was running my mouth, and I didn't put that 6th one in there, but I just want to show you I did do that. So bam, he's going on the old beat up cookie sheet. And like I said, I'm going to do the rest of these, and I'll bring him back, and I'll tell you what I do next. Okay, see you in a second. All right, y'all, voila. Didn't take me a minute to do this. So this is going to probably be pulled pork just because we hadn't had that for a while. But no matter what I'm making, I'll throw this in Slumgullion, Brunswick stew, if I can speak. Anything like that. Or like I said, just a roast. I'll roast it in the oven, or I'll do it on the stove top, whatever. And these are excellent for the oven. Look here, 3 full meals plus this. And guess what? I could have cut these up into chops, but I don't want them to be chops. I want them to be what they are right now. And smothered pork chops, oven baked pork chops, fried pork chops. I can do anything with these, and they're there. So here's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to lay these in my freezer, just on the shelf, for several hours. It won't even matter if I forget about them and do it overnight. Doesn't matter. But anyway, they'll freeze, and then they'll be frozen flat like this. And then, of course, I'll date them, and then I'll take this, wash it, and put it up. Well, if I didn't shake the camera when I did that, sorry. But then these will be good to go with the date on them. And all we do is pull them out, and these are going to be so good. Now, when I clean up everything, sometimes I have, and I just use scissors for this, I have little tiny pieces of meat when I cut wrong or something, and I have some of the fat that just kind of falls off sometimes. It comes off the edge. And I cut these very thin. Like here's a piece. I'll cut them about like this maybe. Really thin. And if I do oven pork chops, I will throw these in a bag. I'll put either barbecue seasoning, whatever we're going to season with that night. And I will put some down in the bag, and I will shake that bag like you would shake and bake. And then when I range them, I usually do the pork chops on a little rack. And on the outside, I will line these little pieces of fat and meat. And they're all coated, don't forget. And of course the meat is seasoned. Salt and peppered and then seasoned on both sides. And then I'll put these around, and my husband and the kids are crazy over them. And they call them Crispies. So I've been doing that their whole life, and they just crazy for them. So even this doesn't go to waste. They love it. And they get so crisp. And they've got a great flavor and everything. And it's not that much fat, so I'm not overly concerned about that. Quick video. This is still hot. Here, let me get this off. I'm still finishing up cooking these. I just want to show y'all. Remember little crinklies I was talking about? I fried them up. I seasoned them with some of my house seasoning. And this is frozen whole green beans. And these are still cooking, so I'm taking the top off. I'm going to cook this liquid down some. But look, amazing. I just fried these up for just a few minutes, seasoned the little crinklies, and then I just quartered an onion, threw it in. These are frozen green beans and a little bit of chicken broth, and this is going to finish cooking down. By the time supper's ready, we're having mashed sweet potatoes and these green beans. And I do this quite often, and I meant to mention that, so I'm sticking it in this video so you can see other uses for that. Just don't throw it away. If you don't need those scraps that day, just throw them in a Ziploc bag and freeze them as well. All right, just wanted to share that. So anyway, y'all, this is what I do. Saves a lot of money. And just rounding it up roughly, every meal is about, and it's actually less than that, but I guess if you want to count tax, say $4.50. So where can a family of 5 get lunches for the husband? So you're saving money on that. And then, so this is 4 lunches for my husband, no matter what I make. And if I do pulled pork with this, we might even get 2 meals out of this, or at least a couple of lunches for my husband for sure. So even there's more here than that, because pulled pork stretches it, you know. But anyway, and even just doing these, or like I said, cutting them up and making stir fry with them, whatever I'm going to do, smother them, anything. All these meals for $4.50. You can't. That's less than $1 a piece of meat for a family. And if I'm doing a skillet supper, I can bake these off. They're real tender. Then I'll cut them up, and we'll just make a skillet supper out of that. I'll throw a couple of links to some skillet suppers I've put up before. Anyway, I'll see y'all next time. I'm getting a little bit tired after all that. So this was a long tidbit, but y'all, we got to save money nowadays. You can't go wrong doing this. Do the work yourself. You're paying more for those boneless, skinless pork chops. There's just no reason to when you can cut them yourself and save money. And if you really need to stretch it, you can most certainly cut them about 3/4 of an inch. You'll still get a great meal, and you could probably stretch this into 5 meals. That's the truth. All right, I'll see y'all next time. Love y'all. Bye.